In a tunnel packed with cars, one man risks everything to chase a yellow sports car. He fixes his eyes on the driver, consumed by a single thought. No matter what it costs, I'll drag you down to hell. He's Tae-jung, a hard-working delivery guy who almost never takes a break. One night, while he's chatting with a coworker, a spoiled rich girl suddenly snatches their food and throws it on the ground, simply because his coworker accidentally bumped into her. Staring at the ruined order, Tae-jung is furious. He jumps on his motorcycle and speeds after her. Knowing every street like the back of his hand, he catches up to the sports car and stops directly in front of it. Without hesitation, he tosses the food back into the car and yells, "Pay up." Only then do the rich kids realize they provoked the wrong person, and they panic as they hand over the money. After dealing with that mess, Tae-jung swings by a school to check on his younger brother, Tae-jin. The two grew up depending on each other after losing their mother early on. Tae-jung reminds him that he'll be paying respects to Mom alone tomorrow, since Tae-jin needs to focus on his upcoming exam. When work ends, he rushes back home to decorate the garden with his friends. Turns out, he and his girlfriend Soo-ji are planning to open a flower shop together. To make that dream come true, he took out a large bank loan. That's why he's been grinding non-stop. Good thing everything's going pretty well. The next morning, Tae-jung wakes early to make breakfast for his girlfriend. After cleaning up the mess from last night, he heads out to start another busy day. He just finishes the delivery when the elevator closes. In a rush, he takes the stairs and unexpectedly spots a sick tree on the landing. He leaves a note on how to care for it, then quickly walks away. On his next delivery run, he spots an old lady struggling with her suitcase, so he helps her haul it up the hill. Later that night, while he's wolfing down dinner, a phone rings beside him. When he picks it up, he realizes it belongs to someone who dropped it nearby. He plans to leave it at a convenience store, but the woman on the other end begs him to deliver it directly. She even offers 300,000 won as a reward. Wanting to earn a little extra, Tae-jung heads to the location she gives, only to find an empty, deserted tunnel. She calls again, saying it's too late to meet a stranger. She tells him to leave the phone in a call box inside the tunnel. Confused but compliant, he does exactly as she asks. As he walks away satisfied, a speeding truck nearly hits him. The next day, while he's tending to plants as usual, police suddenly barge in and arrest him on charges of rape and murder. Recently, a young woman was brutally killed and dismembered, but for some reason, the police immediately decide Tae-jung is the murderer. Shocked and furious, Tae-jung insists he doesn't even know the victim. But the officers keep repeating how serious the case is and refuse to release him. Soon, his friends rush to the station with some bad news. All his personal info has already been leaked online, and even the walls of his flower shop are now covered with graffiti saying, "Die, murderer." Later, when Soo-ji arrives at the station, Tae-jung breaks down, shouting he's innocent and insisting he never killed anyone. Soo-ji trusts his character and vows to do everything she can to save him. She immediately hires a lawyer, and he says what matters most now is finding Tae-jung's alibi. Fortunately, every food delivery he makes is recorded, so with the help of friends and family, they manage to sort out his entire 2-day timeline in just one day. The lawyer grows confident, believing that with this kind of alibi, they can definitely put up a good fight. But no one expects everything to take a shocking turn. Even though the GPS tracking data of Tae-jung's whereabouts matches the timeline the lawyer presents, the prosecution still raises 3 major doubts. First, on the day of the murder, he happened to make a delivery to the victim's residence, and the time he spent going upstairs and coming back down was longer than usual. Tae-jung explains that he stopped to take care of a tree and left a note, which cost him a few minutes. Second, the prosecutor questions him about why he was carrying the suitcase. Tae-jung says he helped an elderly woman after finishing the delivery, but the prosecutor immediately shows a photo. The suitcase dumped at the crime scene looks identical to the one he moved. Tae-jung freezes, a bad feeling creeping up inside him. Third, the prosecutor asks why he was in possession of the victim's phone and shows convenience store CCTV footage. Tae-jung hurriedly explains he picked it up and was planning to return it. The prosecutor counters, the tunnel where he returned the phone is only a few dozen meters from where the body was dumped. Then comes the killing blow. The victim's body contains Tae-jung's DNA. The prosecutor demands to know why he committed such a horrific crime. Taejong is completely stunned, shouting over and over, "I'm innocent." To make matters worse, the prosecutor adds one more thing. No one has ever seen the tree he mentioned. That evening, Suji visits again and tells Taejong the lawyer has decided to withdraw from the case. Just as Taejong falls into despair, Suji suddenly asks to see his wrist. Earlier, in the crime scene photos, she noticed the couple bracelet she once gave him. Taejong freezes. He can't remember where his bracelet is. Suji breaks down. She can no longer force herself to believe him, and she ends the relationship in tears. In the end, Taejong is sentenced to life in prison. What awaits him is endless darkness. Just as he is about to lose the will to live, a public defender named Kim visits him. He has heard about the case by chance and feels that everything was very calculated, and it was almost as if they were following the script. He asks Taejong to recall every detail and promises to do everything he can to help. His words give Taejong a faint glimmer of hope. He tells Kim that the bracelet found at the crime scene is not his. He later remembers leaving it behind in his younger brother's dorm. Kim's eyes light up. He believes this could be the key to overturning the case and warns Taejong not to mention it to anyone. But Taejong barely has time to feel relieved before he is beaten by other inmates. He endures all the insults and bullying in silence, convinced that justice will come in the end. However, reality delivers another brutal blow. Kim brings devastating news. Taejong's brother left a suicide note and took his own life. His brother's death becomes the final straw that breaks him. Remembering their happier days, Taejong cries until he can't breathe. That night, he decides to end it all and reunite with his brother. In his dream, Taejin sobs, shouting, "Why did you kill yourself? Get away from me, just go." Taejong jolts awake, finding himself strapped to a hospital bed. Doctors rush to sedate him. It's the third time this month he's tried to harm himself. Drowned in pain and despair, Taejong becomes a walking corpse. Even though his friends visit every month, he refuses to see anyone. Not long after, guards escort him to the chapel for an Easter service. An altar server named Sik walks up to him and offers him a piece of cake. He admits that he's a prisoner too, and he's been here for 15 years. So he understands exactly how Taejong feels right now. He tells Taejong to treat the rest of his life as a gift from God, and to do all the things he once regretted not doing. Those words rekindle Taejong's will to live. From that day on, he sets a strict routine for himself. Except for the hours he's bullied, he spends every minute studying, training, learning new skills, and planting seeds in the yard. Sik even gives him a Bible, telling him to stay patient and keep waiting for his moment. Days pass, and tiny sprouts appear in the flower bed. Taejong's certificates pile up, and he gets stronger inside and out. 5 years fly by. Within cold concrete walls, he's created a living patch of green. Even the kind guard, Yang, admires Taejong's effort and comes to him for advice about plants. Sik jokes that Taejong is basically a tree doctor now. Then he gives Taejong his own bracelet and says, "Stay exactly as you are. Don't shed any more tears." Taejong senses something is off, and he's right. Sik whispers, "I'm getting out today." Taejong holds back his sorrow and sees his only friend off. He bows deeply to Sik and shouts, "Thank you for everything." After Sik leaves, Taejong becomes the new altar server. One day, Yang brings a hopeless young man to the prison chapel. Taejong hands him the Bible, hoping he'll find strength to keep going, but the young man keeps repeating that he's innocent. If he hadn't tried to return a lost phone, none of this would have happened. Taejong freezes. His story is exactly the same. He, too, was jailed because he picked up a stranger's phone. Even their public defender is the same person. Worse yet, today, the young man receives news that his mother unexpectedly died. He insists she would never take her own life, and he's certain the public defender is the real killer. The moment Taejong hears this, his world tilts. He begins to re-examine his own case. Maybe everything was designed from the very beginning. But the next day, the young man takes his own life in his cell. At that point, Taejong is almost certain someone is manipulating all these tragedies. He contacts Kim and lies about remembering a new lead. During their meeting, he looks Kim in the eyes and asks, Is this the face of a cold-blooded murderer, or of someone framed to look like one? Kim realizes Taijung doesn't have any information. He smirks and admits the entire case was fabricated. From the moment Taejung picked up that phone, the entire conspiracy had already begun. Afterward, Tae-jin found the bracelet in his dorm and sensed something is wrong, and was murdered because of it. Hearing the truth, Taejung erupts with rage and roars, "I am gonna find a way to kill you." He returns the Bible to the chaplain and quietly pulls a nail from beneath a chair. Then he looks up at the cross and swears, from this moment on, he will repay blood with blood. What he doesn't know yet is that the mastermind is a young man named Johan. He specializes in cleaning up problems for the wealthy, even murder. In return, he forces them to buy his sculptures for an absurd price. One day, Johan is in a meeting when he gets a call from lawyer Kim. Something has gone wrong with their plan. He stays perfectly calm and sends a professional killer to fix the situation, as if everything is still under his control. Meanwhile, a group of inmates blocks Taejung again, but this time, he doesn't hold back. In a few swift moves, he takes them all down and warns them never to mess with him again. The leader's name is Deoksu, the top dog of the entire prison. He can't stand being humiliated by a nobody, so he plans to get rid of Taejung, but the warden secretly meets with him and warns him to lay low. The two of them are in cahoots, running illegal underground fights among inmates to make money. Yet a prisoner has just died, and if anything else happens, the warden will be blamed for negligence. So he orders Deoksu to stay out of trouble for a while. Meanwhile, Sik takes over his father's repair shop, barely making enough to get by. One day, the chaplain tells him that Taejung returned the Bible. Worried that something has happened to Taejung, Sik rushes to the prison to see him. Taejung chokes up as he explains he's been framed and quietly adds that he will get out of here. Sik warns him that escaping this place is nearly impossible, but Taejung already has a full plan. He says he's not climbing any walls, he's walking out the front door. While cleaning, he secretly monitors guard shifts, key placements, food delivery schedules, every detail he can exploit. But danger comes back quickly. Deoksu sends an inmate to get close to Taejung, planning to teach him a brutal lesson. But the guy is no match for Taejung and ends up beaten black and blue. That's when Taejung realizes Deoksu is a threat he must eliminate. So he deliberately approaches Deoksu and brings up the fact that Deoksu once hurt his own sister. Enraged, Deoksu grabs a tray and swings at him. Taejung never fights back, because his real goal is to get Deoksu thrown into solitary, and the plan works perfectly. After that, Taejung asks Yang for a few sponges, pretending he needs them for gardening. He hides them under the flower pots and stores them in the warehouse of Block B. The next day, he attacks the prisoner assigned to clean Block B and takes his place. While cleaning, he sneaks into the warehouse and presses the key to the Block B gate onto the sponge. Then, he brings the flower pot to the garden and pours white glue over the imprint, creating molds. At the same time, a hitman disguised as a doctor enters the prison and identifies his target. The pink liquid in his pocket is meant specifically for Taejung. Later, while inmates line up for vaccines, a guard asks Taejung to fix his car. While the guard is eating, Taejung quickly cuts 2 copies of the key. But the guard returns sooner than expected, and even brings him a burger. He scans Taejung for anything suspicious, but finds nothing, because Taejung hid the keys inside the burger bag. Back in his cell, Taejung finds a guard waiting for him. There's a big underground fight tomorrow, and the guard has bet a lot of money on him, so he sends someone else to take the vaccine in Taejung's place. When fight day arrives, Taejung couldn't care less about winning. Today is his escape day. He takes down an opponent in just a few moves and slips away immediately. But then the doctor suddenly appears outside his cell. Yesterday, the hitman realized that the guy was a fake, so he stayed an extra day on purpose. After confirming Taejung's identity, he injects him with a poison. Then he sends a message to his boss, it will be over in 30 minutes. Taejung has no idea what's happening. He just focuses on executing his plan. First, he jams a nail into the outlet, cutting the power in Zone B, which also disables the cameras. While the guard go check the fuse box, he slips into the control room, steals an access card, and heads to the storage area to change into civilian clothes. Using the card, he unlocks every iron gate along the way and reaches the vent below. He already investigated this route. It's the only path that avoids all guards. He takes off his prison uniform, crawls into the duct, and carefully inches forward until he reaches the ceiling above the visitation room. But the poison starts kicking in, and he fights through the pain to keep moving. He stumbles into the service hall and blends in with the crowd of visiting families. He cuts open an elderly woman's lunchbox to stir up chaos, then calmly walks out through the front door. But he doesn't make it far. He collapses on the ground. When Tae-jung wakes up, he's already in the prison infirmary. The doctor tells him someone injected him with rat poison, but the vitamin K3 in the supplements he takes kept him alive. Meanwhile, Yang retraces Tae-jung's escape route himself and can hardly believe it. The man's a genius. Soon after, Yang visits Tae-jung. He suspects someone is trying to harm him and promises it won't happen again, but he also warns him not to try escaping again. Tae-jung doesn't say much. He just asks Yang to give Sik a message. "Thank you for saving my life again." Turns out those supplements that saved him came from Sik. Elsewhere, Deoksu is finally released from solitary, and the first thing he wants is revenge. He leads his men straight to Tae-jung. Sensing danger, Tae-jung hides. Right after work, Yang bumps into the prison doctor, who reveals that Tae-jung's in danger. He immediately gathers the guards and rushes to the infirmary, but the prisoners won't let them in. Inside, Deoksu stabs into the blanket, only to realize no one is there. Suddenly, Tae-jung launches a violent counterattack from the shadows. Despite being outnumbered, he takes down all of Deoksu's men with his flawless fighting skills. Furious, Deoksu drives a knife into Tae-jung's abdomen. Even with severe injuries, Tae-jung fights like a wild beast, forcing Deoksu to the ground. But he doesn't kill Deoksu, only slashing his ear as a final warning. By the time the guards arrive, the fight is already over. As punishment, Tae-jung is thrown into solitary. In a daze, he sees his younger brother again. The guilt crushes him, and he vows to make the true culprit pay. Late at night, Tae-jung and several inmates are hooded and dragged into a secret prison van. All of this is orchestrated by Johan. Recently, he's become obsessed with racing games, but they aren't thrilling enough. So he contacts the warden through a middleman and asks him to quietly transfer 12 high-risk inmates out of the prison. He tosses out 2 gold bars worth millions as payment and promises 5 more if everything goes smoothly. The warden hesitates. If this leaks, he's finished. Johan then casually mentions that the warden uses public funds to invest in crypto and bought coins from a bunch of scammers by mistake. He promises to fix the problem. Hearing this, the warden agrees without a second thought. He distributes huge bribes to every guard involved, ordering them to cooperate. And just like that, under the cover of darkness, 12 inmates are secretly transported to a hidden location. By sunrise, they're dressed in numbered white uniforms, standing inside an abandoned factory. From the highest platform, Johan announces excitedly, "This is the land of opportunity." At this moment, Tae-jung still doesn't know that this man is the true villain who destroyed his entire life. 5 years ago, a wealthy heir named Do Kyung accidentally killed the girl he was with. Panicking, he immediately called his father, an influential congressman. To protect his son and his own political career, the congressman contacted Johan and ordered him to take care of it. Johan sent his team to the crime scene and used advanced tech to reconstruct the entire space in perfect 3D detail. Even from miles away, Johan could examine every blood droplet and every fingerprint with precision. Once he understood the whole scene, he tapped into the nationwide surveillance network, scanning everyone who had passed by. Eventually, he landed on one unlucky guy, Tae-jung, who happened to be delivering food in the area. With a target selected, Johan's team began tracking Tae-jung's entire life, his habits, his relationships. Meanwhile, a special cleaning crew slipped into Tae-jung's home, stealing fingerprints and anything that could be used as evidence. The team then attached those prints and footprints onto items related to the murder. They even dug through Tae-jung's trash, extracted bodily fluids, and injected them into the victim to stage the perfect crime. When it comes to framing a scapegoat, Johan is obsessively meticulous. After noticing Taejung's bracelet was missing, he immediately ordered his men to make a copy and plant it at the crime scene. Later, he learned the real bracelet had ended up in Taejung's brother's dorm, so he sent a hitman to kill Taejin and destroy the evidence. Even the old lady by the road and that tree in the stairwell were all part of Johan's setup. He's a genius and a total psycho. Now he launches an entirely new death game. To make sure the prisoners have the strength to compete, he even prepares a generous dinner for them. Everyone eats without suspicion, except Taejung, who curls up in a corner, alert as ever. After that, the prisoners are split up and sent to different numbered rooms. Late at night, Taejung quietly slips out, hoping to find a way to escape. But the entire factory is filled with armed mercenaries, forcing him to move carefully and avoid their patrols. In the end, he's caught. Just then, Johan shows up, kindly offering to take him back to his dorm. Taejung refuses to get in and demands to know why they're really here. Johan only hints that a special competition is coming soon. Back in the dorm area, Taejung finds Deoksu and his gang still stuffing themselves in the lounge. Deoksu mocks him again, threatening revenge. Just as a fight is about to break out, the mercenaries fire several shots, forcing both sides to back down. At dawn, blaring music wakes the prisoners. They change into white suits and gather on an open field. One of the prisoners asks what this place is. Johan replies it's a racetrack. Each of them will drive a randomly assigned car and race one another. Besides that, there are no rules. One guy refuses to participate. Without hesitation, Johan pulls out his gun and shoots him dead on the spot. Everyone else falls silent. Nobody dares to resist now. Just then, a cargo truck slowly pulls in. Johan announces that it's carrying 5 billion won in cash, and the final winner gets to keep all of it. He even offers them chances to consult with him, so if they end up having questions, they can come to him. The prisoners then head into their assigned repair bays to claim their cars. Most of them are thrilled and immediately start assembling their vehicles. Only Deoksu looks unhappy because he draws the worst car. Meanwhile, Johan invites 2 special spectators, one of whom is the congressman's son, Do-kyung. He explains that this isn't just a race, it's a dogfight. His plan is to expand this competition into a global underground business, where prisoners fight like animals and rich people place their bets. These 2 rich heirs will be the founding members of this business. Do-kyung presses him. So, does the winner really get the prize money? Johan nods, then adds coldly, but no one is leaving this place alive. Before long, prisoner number 5, Jay, is the first to request a meeting. He respectfully proposes building a long-term partnership with Johan, even promising that he'll become a very useful toy. Johan just sneers. He has zero interest in someone with 18 fraud convictions. Next comes Deoksu, but his motive is completely different. He doesn't care about the prize money. He only wants permission to kill Taejung during the race. Johan bursts into laughter. He explains, there are no rules here. Deoksu can do whatever he wants. Because the race has no restrictions, the prisoners start forming alliances. Prisoner number 10, Yang, approaches Taejung, hoping to team up. He knows Taejung has the auto mechanic license and promises to split the 5 billion if he wins. That night, Taejung upgrades and reinforces Yang's high-end sports car, but suddenly, Jay shows up with a few guys trying to snatch the car. Yang blocks the entrance with everything he has, buying Taejung precious seconds. The moment the door breaks open, Taejung fires up the engine and speeds off. Deoksu happens to witness this and immediately gives chase. This time, he plans to kill Taejung and take the car, but right as he slams the accelerator to ram Taejung, Jay cuts in and blocks him. The two are about to fight when armed mercenaries rush in and shut everything down. Worse, Yang's car is so damaged that it explodes on the spot. Taejung looks around and notices a passage that seems to lead to the outside world. The next day, he requests a meeting with Johan, but his real purpose is to study the surroundings. Johan asks what he actually wants, and Taejung simply requests a box of vitamins, saying they can revive that dying tree. Johan scoffs and orders his men to throw the tree away. To make the game more exciting, Johan agrees to work with Jay and hints that he's left a gift inside his car. Soon, the race is about to begin. The prisoners drive into the arena one by one. Johan repeats that there are no rules. If they want to survive, they'll have to do whatever it takes. When the red light flashes, the death match officially begins. One guy activates a flamethrower rig on his car and rockets into the lead. But halfway through, the vehicle catches fire and explodes, killing him instantly. Seeing this, Do-kyung claps with excitement. The race is heating up, but Johan doesn't seem focused. He stares at Tae-jung's photo, a strange sense of familiarity creeping in. The moment he spots the tree, it hits him. Tae-jung is the scapegoat he handpicked for Do-kyung 5 years ago. Johan immediately orders Jae to intercept Car 9 because that's Tae-jung's vehicle. Deoksu rushes over to help, and together they stop the car. But to everyone's shock, Yong is the one behind the wheel. Johan launches the drones to search, but suddenly Tae-jung rides a motorcycle out of the corner. Johan orders Jae to open the gift in the back seat, a handgun. Tae-jung hides somewhere safe and ties a gas tank to the back of his motorcycle. Jae smashes the window and opens fire, but Tae-jung dodges skillfully and destroys Jae's wheel, sending the entire car flipping over. Thrilled, Johan immediately changes the rules. Whoever catches or kills Tae-jung gets double the prize money. Just as Tae-jung tries to leave, Deoksu blocks his path, and the two break into a fistfight. Deoksu is no match for Tae-jung and is quickly overpowered. Enraged, Johan pulls out a sniper rifle and fires repeatedly. Tae-jung quickly uses a car as cover. The moment Johan reloads, he jumps on his motorcycle and speeds toward the passage he spotted last night. It's only then that Johan realizes Tae-jung plans to use the uphill road to escape. Tae-jung detonates the gas tank to clear the barricade, then accelerates full speed. As the motorcycle launches into the air, Johan lines up the shot and pulls the trigger. Miraculously, Tae-jung dodges the bullet and crashes down onto the riverbank alive. Using the darkness as cover, he quickly changes into a fisherman's outfit and flees the scene. Dragging his injured body, he barely makes it to Sik's repair shop before collapsing. Sik drags him inside and carefully treats his wounds. Meanwhile, Johan is furious. The situation is slipping out of his control. To cover up the truth, he forces the warden to announce that the prisoners died in a gas explosion during volunteer work, and forbids any public manhunt for Tae-jung. After all, only if he kills Tae-jung himself will the game stay interesting. Soon after, Tae-jung wakes from a nightmare. Sik worries something terrible has happened, but doesn't pry. He simply tells him to rest. After breakfast, Tae-jung visits the funeral home to see his mother and brother. His resolve for revenge grows even stronger. He targets Lower Kim first, believing he's the key to uncovering the truth. After digging around, he tracks Kim down and gives him a brutal beating. Tae-jung asks who's behind everything, but all Kim can say is, "If I tell you, they'll kill me." While searching his documents, Tae-jung finds a file on a woman named So Hyun-jong. Cornered, Kim finally admits the woman was chosen as a scapegoat. When a client commits murder, they will look for a victim to be the scapegoat. To fabricate evidence, they stalk the scapegoat for months, recording every detail of their life, exactly what Tae-jung once experienced. Just then, the hitman breaks in and a fierce fight erupts. Tae-jung instantly recognizes him, the fake doctor who injected him with the poison. Rage takes over and he knocks the guy out. Kim tries to attack from behind but gets overpowered easily. In panic, he blurts out a horrifying truth. This hitman is the one who killed Tae-jung's brother. The next second, the hitman throws a bomb inside and braces himself against the door. Tae-jung grabs the document bag and dives out the window to escape. Before long, Johan hears about the chaos that erupts tonight. Because the hitman keeps messing up, Johan completely loses his patience. He executes the hitman himself and leaves a symbolic retirement fee. To him, these people are nothing more than disposable parts. If one piece stops working, he simply replaces it with another. Meanwhile, after hearing Kim's confession, Sik hugs Tae-jung tightly, feeling sorry for everything he's gone through. He promises he'll help Tae-jung with anything he needs. Together, they begin planning to save the next chosen scapegoat, Ms. So. Tae-jung assumes the watchers must be hiding somewhere near her, and he's right. Through his own Skynet surveillance system, Johan monitors Ms. So with 0 blind spots. Ms. So runs a small barbershop. She's targeted because the murder weapon happens to resemble a pair of hairdressing scissors. To block Johan's plan, Taejong builds multiple surveillance devices and secretly installs them around the barbershop. Then he sits in front of the computer, watching non-stop. One afternoon, a girl walks into the repair shop and casually takes the money Sik has hidden. Thinking she's a thief, Taejong tackles her on the spot. Sik rushes in and explains she's his daughter, Yunbi. Yunbi, rebellious by nature, demands rent from Taejong. As soon as he hands over the cash, she lands a heavy punch on him and says coldly, "Now we're even." Taejong mutters, "This girl is seriously weird." After days of observing, Taejong finally identifies several suspicious people. He notices the same cars and the same men appearing in front of Miss So's salon at the exact same times. He also remembers one crucial detail, the victim's phone. Back then, he had never met the victim, yet her phone's GPS data matched his own movements perfectly. Just then, they notice a motorcycle that's been following Ms. So almost 24 hours a day. And suddenly everything makes sense. Taejong immediately rushes to the barbershop, only to learn that Ms. So has already left. Her daughter tells him that her mom went to return a phone and points at the address she left. At the meeting spot, Ms. So hands the phone back to its owner. Suddenly, Taejong shows up disguised as a robber and snatches the phone away. This unexpected move completely disrupts the crime organization's plans. Johan realizes that Taejong has become a serious threat to him. So he contacts Guk, a suspended police officer caught taking bribes, and orders him to track Taejong down. In exchange, Johan promises to clear all charges and even help him get promoted. Guk visits the prison first and learns that Sik is the closest person to Taejong. He then visits Sik and casually brings up the fact that Taejong has escaped. Sik tries to stay calm, but Guk notices something's off and insists on checking a certain room. But Yunbi happens to be changing clothes inside. She bursts into anger, condemning them for trespassing and drives them out of the house. Later, Taejong returns to the repair shop and learns the police were just here. To avoid putting anyone in danger, he decides to leave, but Sik stops him, because it's much better for him to stay here. After all, the safest place is under the enemy's nose. That night, Taejong calls the phone's owner, claiming he found it and asking for a reward. The woman believes he's just a thief and follows his instructions. Late at night, she shows up at the designated spot with the money. Taejong tells her to hand the cash to a delivery rider, then retrieve her phone from a locker in a nearby building. As soon as she leaves, he tails her all the way to a secret warehouse. Disguising himself as a worker, Taejong slips inside and discovers people collecting fingerprints and hair samples from everyday items. He quietly records everything on his phone, but suddenly, Sik calls. Just moments earlier, he spots a suspicious person entering the barbershop. Taejong gets exposed because of the call, but he manages to fight his way out and escape. Meanwhile, Ms. So senses danger. She tries to protect her daughter, but is quickly overpowered. At the critical moment, Taejong arrives and engages in a fierce fight with female assassin. Neither gains the upper hand, until the police sirens wail in the distance, and she flees. It turns out Sik has already called the police, and they rescue Ms. So and her daughter before officers arrive. Elsewhere, Johan spots Taejong on the surveillance footage. He bursts into laughter, finding the situation more thrilling than ever. Just then, the congressman and his son show up uninvited, accusing him of incompetence and even treating him like a servant. The congressman warns him to settle everything this week, or it won't be for a friendly chat like it was today. The moment they leave, Johan vents to the nanny. "I gave them the opportunity of a lifetime, but they're down to making threats. Let's just end this thing." But just then, Do-kyung humiliates him again. Johan changes his mind on the spot and decides to send that guy a special gift. Meanwhile, Taejong explains everything to Ms. So. Yunbi happens to be there and finally realizes he's actually a gentle and kind guy. To protect Ms. So and her daughter, Taejong begs Yunbi to shelter them for a while. Yunbi grows even more curious about him. After pressing him with questions, he finally confesses the truth about being framed. She lies awake all night, feeling nothing but pity for him. For the first time, she calls her father and says, "Call this number if anything happens." Sik is overjoyed, because their strained relationship finally begins to soften. Back at the repair shop, they see the news on TV. The murderer is dead. That's when Tae-jung realizes that there's more than one scapegoat in this whole setup. Enraged, he rushes back to the warehouse, only to find every worker executed. To Johan, a flawless plan leaves no loose ends. Then the conveyor belt suddenly starts running and something drops onto the floor. When Tae-jung approaches, he sees a severed head, the hitman who previously posed as a doctor. The work table is covered with case files and a letter for Tae-jung. It's stuffed with money, almost mocking him for being useless. Suddenly, a huge screen lights up, revealing that the true culprit behind all the murders is Do-kyung. Tae-jung burns with rage, unaware that he's already been dragged into another deadly game. To make the game more exciting, Johan easily hacks into Do-kyung's social accounts, switches all his private posts to public, and deliberately drops clues for Tae-jung. Through those posts, Tae-jung realizes Do-kyung is currently in Busan and immediately sets out to take revenge. Back in Seoul, the police are still tracking Tae-jung's whereabouts. At that moment, Tae-jung calls Yang himself, insisting he will catch the real culprit with his own hands and clear his name. Hwang grabs the phone, hears the Busan station announcement in the background, and heads straight to Busan. Meanwhile, Sik can't reach Tae-jung and senses something is wrong. He finally relaxes, only after confirming at the prison that Tae-jung hasn't been caught. Yoon-bi suddenly remembers that her father once gave Tae-jung a phone, so they pretend it's lost and ask the staff to locate it, revealing that Tae-jung is in Busan. At the same time, Johan is at a temple attending his family's memorial, the 10th anniversary of his parents' death. His uncle, a psychiatrist, believes Johan must be deeply traumatized by losing his parents. Johan acts sorrowful, but the moment his uncle turns away, he flashes a wicked smile. His aunt, however, is eager to sort the massive inheritance his parents left behind. Johan obediently lets her do whatever she wants, while secretly signaling the blind nanny to take care of all the trouble. Moments later, the nanny arrives with the female assassin and wipes out every relative. Though she's dying, the aunt still spits insults at the nanny, calling her a filthy woman. That's when the truth emerges. The nanny is actually Johan's biological mother. She even recalls with sick excitement how Johan once poured mercury into her eyes to stop her from leaving, making her permanently blind. But to her, that was simply her son's way of showing love, and she will always be grateful for it. Later that day, Tae-jung finally finds Do-kyung, who is hosting a lavish yacht party. Tae-jung walks up to confront him, secretly turning on the recorder to lure him into confessing. Do-kyung recognizes Tae-jung as his scapegoat, yet remains insanely arrogant, showing zero remorse and even signaling his men to kill Tae-jung. Tae-jung fights back, but the leader is too fast and takes him down in seconds. Do-kyung immediately calls Johan, claiming he has captured Tae-jung. He suspects Johan leaked his location and demands his money back. Johan agrees on the surface, but in his mind, he's already planning to get rid of all of them in one go. Meanwhile, Tae-jung is tied up and thrown into the yacht's cabin. When Sik and Yoon-bi arrive at the port, they see police swarming the area. Sensing danger, Yoon-bi splits up with her father to look for Tae-jung. Hwang and Yang are also hunting desperately. Soon after, Do-kyung learns the police are nearby and rushes to the cabin, only to find Tae-jung gone. Earlier, Sik had sensed something suspicious about the yacht and sneaked in just in time to rescue him. Unfortunately, Yang spots them right afterward. He tries to convince Sik to stay out of it and promises to help Tae-jung through official channels. Just then, Hwang suddenly appears and blocks their escape. But just when he's feeling triumphant, Yoon-bi ambushes him from behind and even sprays Yang with a fire extinguisher. The three finally manage to break free and hide at Yoon-bi's bestie's home. Exhausted, Tae-jung falls into a deep sleep. Watching his peaceful face, Yoon-bi becomes even more certain he is not the villain everyone claims he is. The next day, Tae-jung keeps replaying last night's recording, hoping to catch a crucial clue. Meanwhile, Yang follows the tip Tae-jung sent him and heads to a station locker to retrieve the files on Do-kyung. Elsewhere, Do-kyung checks the security footage. He suspects Johan refused to give a refund and sent people to sneak Taejung out. But Johan can't be bothered to argue with him, and instead realizes someone is secretly helping Taejung. Soon after, Johan visits the congressman and tells him that his son got into a fight with the runaway scapegoat. He volunteers to provide another security detail and clean up the mess once and for all. The congressman only smirks, saying he has 10,000 ways to erase that scapegoat, but that cleaning up his waste is Johan's job. The insult pushes Johan over the edge, but before he can act, the congressman sends several assassins to surround his mansion. Johan is as pissed at the congressman's answer. He just sighs, then grabs a katana and single-handedly wipes out every assassin. On the rooftop, Sik finally reveals the secret he has buried for years. Back then, during an argument with his wife, he tossed a lit cigarette inside the house in a moment of anger, sparking a fire. Terrified, he didn't go in to save her, and the police later ruled it as intentional murder. Yunbi has hated him ever since. Hearing this, Taejung feels a mix of emotions. To him, the fact that Sik is willing to help him without hesitation feels like a blessing. At the same time, Johan starts investigating Sik. He can't understand why this estranged father-daughter pair is risking so much to protect an outsider. In the end, he decides to confront them himself. To capture Taejung, Do Kyung gathers even more thugs and even posts publicly on social media, challenging Taejung to a showdown at 9 p.m. After seeing the post, Taejung modifies a drill into a pneumatic nail gun, determined to get revenge himself. Just then, Yunbi calls him out for breakfast. Her bestie teases her, asking if she's fallen for that guy. Yunbi refuses to answer and hurries off on her motorcycle to the convenience store, but unexpectedly, Huang is also there, looking for Taejung. To avoid being recognized, Yunbi lowers her cap and slips out, but Huang quickly spots the tattoo on her back and realizes she's Sik's daughter, so he chases after her. Fortunately, Yunbi's riding skills are top tier, and she manages to shake him off. Once Sik learns the police are closing in, he drives off to divert their attention. Taking advantage of the chaos, Taejung jumps off the roof and escapes on the motorcycle Yunbi prepared for him. Not long after, Huang realizes he's been played. He's furious, but there's nothing he can do. Later, Yunbi returns home and finds her bestie collapsed on the floor. Johan then appears and explains that the girl only passed out temporarily. Realizing he's here with bad intentions, Yunbi is furious, but neither she nor Sik is any match for Johan. Johan doesn't get the answer he wanted, but he doesn't care anymore. Night falls. Taejung shows up at the appointed place and demands an apology from Do Kyung. But Do Kyung remains arrogant, provoking him, and even declaring that he's going to kill Taejung tonight. Enraged, Taejung grabs the weapon and takes down the attackers one by one. Only the guy with long hair fights like a beast, unleashing blow after blow. Taejung uses everything around him as a weapon and finally catches the perfect moment to knock him out with a shovel. Do Kyung waits anxiously for news until he suddenly sees Taejung rush out alive. He immediately hits the gas and flees, while Taejung jumps onto his motorcycle and chases after him. Inside the packed tunnel, Taejung weaves through traffic, dodging the bullets fired by Do Kyung's men. Do Kyung tries to ram him head-on, but Taejung rides along the tunnel wall and fires several shots back at him. Amid the chaos, Taejung leaps into the thug's car and wipes out all of them. Then he dives into the driver's seat, engaging Do Kyung in a deadly chase. Do Kyung, burning with rage, keeps pulling the trigger. During their fierce shootout, a white truck suddenly swerves in and slams into Do Kyung's car. Taejung drags the dying Do Kyung out, opens his phone's recorder, and forces him to confess. But Do Kyung stays arrogant to the end. Just then, his phone rings. The caller is Johan. When Taejung answers, he finally realizes that Johan is the one manipulating it all. Johan praises Taejung's performance and even offers him 5 billion won to join his side, promising to restore his identity as well. Taejung rejects him without hesitation. Johan didn't just ruin his life, he took his friends away and even got his brother killed. What he wants right now is to drag Johan down from there and make him pay for what he has done. After parting ways with Taejung, Johan heads to the congressman's home and brutally kills him and his mistress. As the congressman's dying, Johann casually reveals a long-buried secret. When he was 16, he murdered his parents simply because they wanted to donate their fortune to a temple. He then calmly framed a serial killer for the crime. From that moment on, he realized he could use this method in the future. With that, Johann ends the congressman's life. His cleaning crew quickly arrives and erases every trace. The next day, Johann sneaks into Sik's repair shop and finds a photo of him and his daughter. He burns the photo, curious to see what Taejung is going to do next. Meanwhile, Sik and Taejung agreed to meet up in Seoul. But before he can leave, the police suddenly show up and arrest him on charges of murdering the congressman. Just like what happened to Taejung, the police find piles of so-called evidence in Sik's home. Threat letters, the victim's DNA, everything. What's worse, Hwang even threatens to arrest his daughter, accusing Eunbi of being an accomplice. Sik finally snaps and warns that if his daughter is dragged into this, he'll kill them himself. At the train station, Taejung sees the news about Sik's arrest and immediately realizes it's Johann's doing. He rushes back to the repair shop, only to find a camera set up high above. It's obvious Johann put it there to taunt him. Taejung smashes the camera and goes to comfort a devastated Eunbi. She doesn't understand why her father is taking the blame for all this, why he refuses to fight back for once. Thinking about him going to prison again, she breaks down in tears. Taejung blames himself and swears he'll end this once and for all. He contacts Johann and demands to know what he wants. Johann tells him to go to the same tunnel as before and open the phone box. Inside is the knife that killed the councilman and a blank check. Johann gives him two choices: either turn himself in with the knife and earn Sik's freedom, or take the checks and start working for him. Taejung asks why he's doing this. Johann simply says, because it's fun. Facing a monster with zero humanity, Taejung feels almost hopeless. In the detention center, Sik is sinking into despair as well. His mind keeps drifting back to moments with his daughter. Years ago, when he was in prison, Eunbi visited him often, always with bruises on her face. She said the other kids at school kept saying him was a loser. To protect his daughter, Sik says the cruelest words, "I'm not your dad anymore. Don't ever come back." After he got out, he thought she hated him, but even with her sharp tongue, she still let him move into her home. One day, he overheard her chatting with her bestie and realized she had missed him all along. Now, staring at an ant struggling on the floor, he feels completely powerless. The next day, Eunbi visits her father, wanting to make sure he's okay. Sik tells her not to worry and warns her that whatever happens to him in the future, she must stay out of it. She doesn't understand what he means until news breaks that Sik has confessed. But Yang's known Sik for years, and he can tell right away that Sik is lying only to protect his daughter. He scolds Hwang, telling him to stop this madness. But Hwang couldn't care less. He reminds Yang that he's just a useless prison guard and shouldn't cross the line. Then something no one expects happens. Taejung walks into the station with the murder weapon and turns himself in. Sik is released on the spot. Johann can't understand why Taejung would make such a choice. Taejung knows that someone like Johann will never grasp the meaning of that rare friendship. He looks at him coldly and says, "You're nothing but a kid." Furious, Johann storms out and calls the warden, ordering him to take care of Taejung the moment he enters prison. Meanwhile, Sik returns home and reunites with his daughter. This time, Eunbi stops hiding her feelings. She throws her arms around him and cries, telling him how scared she really is. The next day, Yang heads to the police station to finalize the transfer, then escorts Taejung onto the police car. On the way, he can't help asking why Taejung gave him the items from the storage locker. Taejung replies, "Those items are the key to the truth, and you were the only person from the prison I felt I could trust." Hearing this, Yang becomes even more convinced that Taejung confessed only to protect Sik. At a rest stop, while another guard goes to the restroom, Yang quietly drives the car away. He parks in a remote area, unlocks Taejung's handcuffs, and tells him there's a van waiting up ahead. It turns out Yang has already read the files from the locker and learned how bad guys fabricated evidence to frame Taejung. And last night, after overhearing a call between the warden and Johann, he finally believes Taejung is innocent. Now he can't stand by any longer, and the only thing he can do is let Taijung go. Taijung soon finds the van, and inside are Sik and Yunbi. The three head to an abandoned greenhouse and use it as a temporary hideout. Taijung learns that Johann is about to hold a sculpture auction. Publicly, Johann is a renowned sculptor who often hosts auctions under anonymous names. According to Do Kyung's earlier testimony, murders always occur within 10 days around each auction, and the culprit is always caught within a week. Taijung realizes these sculptures are payments for covering up the murder cases, and the models are almost always scapegoats. One of the statues even depicts Taijung himself. The piece about to be auctioned is Johann's 100th work. The nanny decides to buy it as a keepsake and drives the bid up to 9 billion won. But suddenly, a mysterious bidder sends the price skyrocketing to 10 billion. Johann seems to know exactly who it is, and he's right. It's Do Kyung. It turns out that night Do Kyung was badly injured but still alive. After realizing Johann's behind his father's death, he decides to team up with Taejung for revenge. Soon after, the police arrive and arrest Johann for murder. Even then, Taejung doesn't let his guard down. He knows Johann's connections, and he could walk free within a day. What matters now is finding the decisive evidence that can completely expose Johann. That night, workers load Johann's sculptures onto trucks. During the transport, Taejung's friends pretend their car broke down, blocking one of the trucks. Amid the chaos, Taejung disguises himself as a worker and drives the truck straight into Johann's mansion. Meanwhile, a group of hitmen storms the police station, massacres the officers, and breaks Johann out. Leading them is Deoksu, Taejung's mortal enemy, from prison. After escaping, Johann heads straight to the hospital room and kills Do Kyung, letting him reunite with his father. At the same time, his female assassin tracks down Sik. When Eunbi rushes back, she finds her father collapsed on the floor, badly wounded. Worse yet, she's no match for the assassin. She quickly runs outside, seizing the perfect chance to ambush the assassin and stab her in the chest. Then she hurries to check her father's condition, but the assassin suddenly attacks again from behind. Elsewhere, Taejung digs through Johann's workbench and finds a suspicious hard drive. Just then, the alarm suddenly blares. Taejung is forced to evacuate, only to find Deoksu already waiting outside the door. Moments later, a swarm of henchmen rushes in. Using the tools and weapons he brought along, Taejung takes them down one by one. During the chaos, a sculpture gets smashed open, revealing the murder weapon hidden inside. Taejung picks up the blade and launches into a deadly fight with Deoksu. It doesn't take long before Deoksu starts losing ground and ends up brutally stabbed. Right at that moment, Johann returns home, completely unfazed by the chaos in front of him. Taejung warns him, by tomorrow morning, the world will know everything. But Johann only laughs, claiming real evidence is hidden inside the katana's handle, while the hard drive Taejung stole will auto-erase the moment it's opened. It turns out Johann already knew Taejung would come and even instructed the nanny to let him in. Just as Taejung prepares to strike again, the female assassin appears holding Eunbi hostage, forcing him to drop his weapon. Suddenly, Johann gets a better idea. If Taejung kills Deoksu, he'll let Eunbi go. Taejung is trapped in a terrible dilemma, but ultimately drops the knife. Johann immediately finishes off Deoksu and declares that after he kills Taejung, Eunbi will take the blame for everything. He even boasts that his 100th masterpiece is modeled after Eunbi. Chaos erupts again. The assassin gets knocked out during the struggle, while Johann swings the katana and charges at Taejung. Soon, Taejung regains the upper hand and beats Johann mercilessly. Even then, Johann keeps taunting him, even playing the video of his brother's murder just to provoke him. But Taejung doesn't kill him. He wants this demon to stay alive and suffer the consequences. After Taejung leaves, the mansion is engulfed in flames, and Johann dies in the fire. Fortunately, Sik survives thanks to timely treatment, and Taejung enters a retrial, eventually being declared innocent. 6 months later, Taejung finally fulfills his dream of running a flower shop, with Eunbi right by his side. Yang also brings a plant he once treated as a gift for the grand opening. Life slowly returns to peace, and Taejung finally lives the ordinary life he always longed for. But what he doesn't know is that someone is still watching him from the shadows,